welcome back to another video. This thing and these cars are my heroes. So let's dive in and let's look at this beautiful Pikes Peak Walter Roll S1E2. Oh, I'm excited. Let's dive in. Where do I even start? This thing is absolutely insane. The Group B era kind of went a bit quiet or whatever. I don't even know if it even got cancelled. They decided to go to America and they decided to attack Pikes Peak. Now, if anyone who follows these will know, Michelle Mouton, who drove up Pikes Peak, and Walter Roll. Michelle Mouton actually was the first and I think only woman to actually win Pikes Peak hill climb. And then this was like later down the line, this is the Pikes Peak model. So the difference between the Pikes Peak model and a normal S1E2, to point it out, is the huge spoiler is completely different to the original. And a thing that I've really only just noticed with being around this car, on a normal S1E2, the wings curve in, where this one is all boxy on this edge, as you can see there with the side vent. Another thing the Pikes Peak car had, which the normal S1E2 didn't, and I'm sorry to say it, this horrible front splitter. The original splitter I don't mind, where as you can see the Michelin part is perfect. It's this additional like spoiler there, as you can see. That's what they put on for Pikes Peak. It was for downforce, it was for to assist going up the hill. This one's obviously a replica because there is only one ever built, and that is in the museum at Ingolstadt. I think the only replica Pikes Peak car I have seen. I actually love the livery on this thing. So let me look at some of the little things around the car. Speedline wheels, these are the remanufactured ones because Speedline actually remanufactured the wheels for the replica boys. Another little thing just to pick up on, a little thing, they all have this, the wing mirrors. They have this little vent which puts air in, which goes inside to put some fresh air into the cab. They all have that, but again, nice little touch. Oh, and another thing the Pikes Peak car has is this huge air vent on the top, because the radiator on this car is in the boot. It was to basically get air in the top, down this channel, as you can see the channel there, and then into the boot with the giant radiator you can just see there. Another little thing to pick up on is the Pikes Peak had these style of lights, which are technically a piece of mesh around the lights. Again, I can only surmise because of the harshness of the event, they did that to basically make sure they basically weren't smashing lights all the time. But then it is weird that it still has front headlights and they seem to be all right. Don't know why they just did the rears, but I think you'll all agree this thing is insane. And what is also great, as you can see by the registration plate, is the guy who owns this actually uses it very, very regularly on the road. Can you imagine driving down the street and seeing this beautiful thing just drive past you? So let's look under the engine bay and let's have a look at this setup. So here's the actual money end of the car. So again, the obligatory 5-cylinder 20 valve out of something like an S2. It's had a lot of upgrades from the original parts, and it is slightly different because a lot of people use the original wastegates and stuff just for period correct looks. So this has got a comp turbo with a tiled wastegate, maybe like a 62mm size turbo. This should make in the region of, I don't know, 500-600 horsepower, would have thought, with that size turbo with a 5-cylinder. Custom plenum manifold. All the setup is on these fancy Wiggins clamps. Anyone who don't know Wiggins clamps, basically you have no silicone joiners. These clamp together, make a crush fit, and it basically sorts out so you don't blow boost pipes off. This is for the road. So you've got to think of it, when you've got to spec these cars for the road, you've got to technically think about usability, reliability, and what you kind of want to do with it. So there's no point in making it ultra complicated with all the high-end technical stuff, when technically all this is for is to have some fun in. Some billet top mounts, remote oil cooler, which is again on the original cars are in the boot. The bonnet is obviously a mixture of fiberglass and Kevlar, which a lot of the replica kits are. This kit is absolutely a nightmare to find because everyone just has S1E2s. I think there was 2 built, far as I know, from Poland was the kit. So now let's dive in and let's have a look inside. Again, slightly different door handles to the original Audis, because if you look at original Audi, it has an external door handle. All the S1E2s had this little notch with the little bar. Unsure why, but that's what they had. Maybe it was for aerodynamics. What a nice place to be. We're inside now. It doesn't have to be an exact copy of the car because it's not meant to be. It's meant to be a usable car. The Alpine LCD telly. So again, I don't know if he's got speakers hidden away. I would have thought he would have. Shows that this car is used on the road, which again, a lot of these cars are not. He's just had a wall-to-roll steering wheel fitted to the car, digital dash, speedo, what have you. Gear selector, which is the factory style. So this is how they would come in the Group B cars and the original Pikes Peak car. The pedal box, which I think is something like a comp brake or an OBP pedal box. Floor mounted with the cylinders at the rear. Hydraulic handbrake, obviously with a lock off, because obviously it needs to pass MOT regulations. Full rim roll cage. I would have thought some kind of, I don't know what that is. That must be like an amplifier or something, I would have thought. The doors, anyone who's never seen these doors, they are huge. Look at how thick they are. When I've seen the people go on the rally, they have, you know, the books in there, the gloves, bits and pieces for when you're out on a stage. There is something I have picked up on. Now, these doors are fiberglass Kevlar, okay? So it has this strap, this check strap, which obviously stops it from going full wide to stop it, but also to show people who always say about fiberglass doors is this. So what we have to do is, he has an additional lock to hold the door closed. What I did find when I had fiberglass doors on certain cars, they potentially pull open. So this is kind of another reason why I would like to use all metal on mine, just so it lasts and survives, and I haven't got to do these extra little things just to make sure there's no issues with the fiberglass part. Factory kind of style seats, which are the Recaro pole positions. They look, yeah, they're all Kevlar seats. Small little race battery. Again, if anyone who knows these cars will know all the water pipes all run through the bulkhead. Through the back, they normally run a bit lower down, but these have been fed through the bulkhead, I think for ease and for the radiator style. And this is that giant ducting for the rear, obviously the roof vent. That's the duct in there which goes to the roof vent, and as you can see, it's all moulded into the roof to allow air into the back. What an amazing build this is. It's not only nice to see an S1E2, but this, as the Pikes Peak one, is insane. On the roof, the main man himself's name, Walter Roll A+. So that's the fuel fill. So if anyone doesn't know what this section is, so on the S1E2s, that section there is for the header tank. Normally they have a screw cap here, which you fill with water, which has a small box in here, which feeds the radiator. Because this is kind of a one-of-one type of thing, and there's no right blueprint to go off, I think it's just been a matter of they have built this to their own specifications to suit budget and what the car is used for. The original ones had two big vents and a gap in the middle. The Pikes Peak has a full open one, I can only surmise, to get all the air out from that roof vent. Let's take the boot off and let's have a look at what's going on in there. Please bear in mind this has been built 3 years and it is in for some work. With the S1E2s, they always seem to have the oil tank in this corner at the back, and then the dry sump system, the lines all go to the front to the dry pump that I've showed you. They all have that. It has this obviously quite a reasonable, I wouldn't say it's as big as normal, but it has the fuel tank there, and this is obviously the radiator. Now on the later models, they had the radiator that shoved over, and they had a giant oil cooler. Really nice aluminium work, all fitted in there for, again, for the usable. Oh, and that's another thing. There you go. Right, so I've seen that. So let's just dive in. So then we have this giant setup here. That's an external water pump, like a Davis Craig, which obviously pumps the water to the engine on these giant fittings, which go up onto the top of the radiator. And then we've got, look down here, we have, oh, there we go. Right, so it has a small swirl pot. Anyone who follows the channel will know I've explained swirl pots before. It fills the tank so it doesn't start with fuel starvation. Two what look like Bosch 044s, a Y piece, and then it goes off to the engine. Really, really nice, usable car, which has been obviously designed and built to be able to be driven on the road and have some fun in. That's just a little introduction to the Pikes Peak S1E2. Obviously we couldn't go out in the car because the car is here for work. It does run and drive at the moment, but he's here to have a few bits and pieces, and as you saw, there's a few bits off that I've been working on. Massive thank you for Jamie for letting me have a look. Some of the cars he's building are insane, and if I'm honest, it'll come in a future video. The best S1E2 replica Jamie owns. It is 85% original, and I am looking forward to getting it out in the sun and having a walk around, going into some details and showing you all the ins and outs of what is a genuine S1E2. So we'll sign this one off. I really enjoyed that little insight into this beautiful car. Take it easy, guys. I'll look forward to seeing you all on the next video.